Today we're going to be touching base with a pair of ultra-compact strollers, the Babyzen Yoyo2 and the Cybex Eezy S2. We've dealt with these models a fair amount in the past, especially the Yoyo, which has long been sort of our measuring stick for ultra-compacts, and it's time to have a look at them again, to reassess their strengths and weaknesses in comparison to each other, based on changes and updates made to both models. We'll be looking at each of them in turn, in relation to 4 different categories: child comfort, parent comfort or ease of functionality, mechanical longevity, and drivability, and we'll then conclude by discussing how these models meet the lifestyle needs targeted by the ultra-compact market, as well as by giving our overall opinion as to which is the better model. So let's get started then, beginning with the Eezy S2. The Eezy S2 clocks in at 7.3 kilos and folds down to 59 by 45 by 35 centimeters. It can take up to 22 kilos in the seat and 5 kilos in the underslung shopping basket. As far as the seat is concerned, the Eezy S2 has a slightly above average length, but is otherwise of standard proportions, with regards to the larger ultra-compact market. And as such, the model is best suited for children up until around 2.5 or 3 years old, for maximum comfort, and is likely to feel a bit cramped after this point. The model's seat offers both a full recline and an adjustable leg rest, though note that the leg rest is pretty minimal, and will be more useful for younger aged toddlers whose legs won't dangle so far off its edge. As far as the canopy is concerned, the Eezy S2's canopy is a bit smaller than a lot of comparable models these days, but still provides relatively adequate sun coverage. When it comes to the materials with which the seat is constructed, Cybex has a tendency to cheap out a bit in this respect with their more affordable models, and while the model is usable, both the padding and the corrugated plastic of the backboard as well as the thickness of the fabrics themselves are all a bit thinner and weaker than I'd like. When it comes to parent comfort, the main positive of the Eezy S2 is its one-step, one-hand fold, a characteristic that I find harmonizes particularly well with the lifestyle to which ultra-compacts are generally aimed to support. When folded, it is worth noting, however, that the model doesn't quite fold down to the cabin luggage size established by the IATA, and thus, while its compactness is still quite useful, you'd probably have to deal with checking it if you're thinking about using it for air travel. The main negative of the model, as far as I see it, has to do with its overall construction, which is a bit weakly assembled and feels somewhat loose and fragile right out of the box. There are, of course, durability concerns with this that we'll deal with in a moment, but as far as ease of use goes, this makes the model feel a bit rickety whenever you drive over even mildly rough terrain. With regards to longevity then, the Eezy S2 rates rather poorly in my experience, as do a lot of Cybex's cheaper silver and gold line models, both due to the use of somewhat weak construction materials, very thin lightweight aluminum bars, but more importantly because of how the whole model is put together, through mostly riveted junctions without much in the way of plastic joints to protect the integrity of the rivets. There's also a deficiency of sturdy crossbars in my opinion, which are necessary for maintaining symmetry so that the joints and internal mechanisms function in concert on both sides of the model, especially during folding. Over a relatively short time then, what can often happen with models like the Eezy S2 is that the rivets and connection points tend to loosen, making the model feel rickety to use and often eventually leading to asymmetry problems. With the Eezy S2 in particular, the most problematic area affected by this is the locking hinges on the model's arms, which are relatively complex internally and are generally the point that takes most of the pressure from loosening elsewhere on the chassis. Looking lastly at driving, as a lightweight ultra-compact with small wheels, the Eezy S2 is really only built for smooth conditions, ideally indoor environments like shopping malls or well-maintained outdoor environments with pretty even pavement. In the real world, though, some traversing of rougher terrain is usually unavoidable, and it is at these points that one will struggle with the Eezy S2, and also where a lot of the wear will occur, that leads to the loosening I talked about. Don't be fooled by the apparent suspension in the back end. With wheels this small, it's not going to do much for the model's terrain capabilities, unfortunately. And the only real way to mitigate this problem is to be careful about where you take the stroller, to use it as a dedicated travel or day trip model, to smoother destinations. Okay, let's move on and have a look at the Yoyo2 then. The Yoyo2 folds down to 52 by 44 by 18 centimeters and weighs 6.2 kilos, and as such is both a little smaller and lighter than the Eezy S2. As far as weight capacities are concerned, on the other hand, the Yoyo2 is identical to the Eezy S2, with 22 kilos in the seat and 5 kilos in the underslung shopping basket. As far as the seat is concerned, the Yoyo2 is slightly shorter than the Eezy S2, but only by a few centimeters, and will thus also be most comfortable for children up until 2.5 or 3, depending on the size of the child. Unlike the Eezy S2, the Yoyo2 does not have a full recline, but the recline is pretty deep nonetheless, and is quite suitable for children older than 6 months to be comfortable while napping. The Yoyo2 also doesn't have an inbuilt adjustable leg rest like the Eezy S2, but it is possible to purchase one as an extra accessory. As far as the canopy is concerned, the Yoyo2's canopy provides roughly equal coverage to the Eezy S2, though note that with its slightly shorter seat back, which causes the canopy to sit a little lower, the canopy feels a bit more enclosing in my opinion. With regards to the quality of materials used in the Yoyo2 seat, I'd say that what stands out the most for me is its durability. There are a few frills on the seat, as there are a few frills on the model in general. But what there is built sturdily, with decent padding and a better harness than the Eezy S2, and as far as the backboard is concerned, the Yoyo2's is a good deal stronger as well, due to the use of solid plastic sheeting integrated directly into the chassis. As far as parent comfort and ease of use are concerned, the Yoyo2's handle is slightly higher than the Eezy S2, and while the Yoyo2 doesn't have a one-hand fold, its fold is not complicated by any measure, and the payoff for its simple two-step fold is that the model is able to avoid the problems related to internal wires and small components that can often cause problems a few years down the road. When folded, the Yoyo2 conforms to the dimensions set by the IATA for cabin luggage, which is to be expected since it's the model that came up with the concept of a cabin luggage size stroller in the first place. For carrying, the Yoyo2 has an inbuilt shoulder strap, which is an awesome inclusion on ultra compacts for that ability to just flip the stroller closed and over one shoulder during those times when you need to not be burdened with it. In stark contrast to the Eezy S2, the Yoyo2 is one of the sturdiest models of its size on the market, and will neither feel loose and rickety right out of the box, nor will it feel this way several years down the line, provided that you treat it right. There are several elements that make the Yoyo2 significantly more durable than the Eezy S2. The bars are both thicker and shaped in such a way as to add structural strength. There are fewer components to the chassis overall, and the joints connecting them are all reinforced with plastic sockets and use screws instead of rivets. And lastly, the Yoyo2 also has better longevity through the avoidance of complicated internal mechanisms, which allows it to evade the kind of internal problems that, in particular, one-hand fold models like the Eezy S2 are susceptible to. Taken together, the interaction between structural strength and internal complexity with regards to these two models can be looked at like this. With the Eezy S2, even though the model has a single activation button, there are still two locking mechanisms meant to function concurrently, yet placed on either side of a weak chassis likely to loosen horizontally. While with the Yoyo2, the situation is exactly the reverse, in that there is only one locking point on a chassis with quite strong horizontal symmetry. Driving-wise, though the Yoyo2 has a certain degree of suspension and well-fitted wheels, the size of the front wheels as well as just the general size and weight of the entire model mean that like the Eezy S2, the Yoyo2 is primarily intended for smooth urban terrain. The main difference between these two models, however, is that with slightly larger wheels and a much sturdier build, should you need to traverse somewhat bumpier ground on occasion, the Yoyo2 will manage to do this more comfortably and with less wear to the chassis. That being said, regular use over rougher terrain for a year or two will still cause the model to loosen up at a quicker rate than it would otherwise, so sticking to smoother areas of use is still preferable. So which of these models would I recommend choosing? Well, I suppose it really comes down to use. It should be pretty clear by this point that we judge the Yoyo2 as a significantly superior model to the Eezy S2 in terms of both use value and engineering, but this doesn't deal with the other big difference between these two models, which is price. All told, the Eezy S2 can be had for half the price of the Yoyo2, even less than half, depending on where you're shopping. My judgment is this then. If you're looking for a model that you intend to use regularly, to have and to hold and to use for the duration of your children's stroller years, then you need to go with the Yoyo2. But if on the other hand, all you need is a quick fix, use and throw away type ultra compact for a few vacations, then the Eezy S2 will work just fine. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us to continue making videos in the future. In addition, if you are currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a wide range of models that we recommend, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find it by following the link in the description. Thank you.